Hey guys, this is Mainely Watches and I'm Nick. Today we are going to be talking about the GINAULT Silent Service, as you gathered from the title already, so no surprise there. GINAULT is an interesting company. There's certainly no lack of controversy behind the name, and nevertheless they make some fantastic watches. So I'm going to try to separate the controversy from the product today. I don't want to get involved in the controversy. I think it is more important that we focus on what they've actually produced, and this is the Silent Service, and try to appreciate what has actually gone into this watch. However, I would be remiss if I didn't broach on the topic of the controversy. And, you know, there's no shortage of forums on the internet that will discuss it, and I'll let you do your own research. Let's just say there are some issues about transparency, who's behind the company, who's the beneficial owner of the company. On the GINAULT website, they clearly state that the watches are hand-built to order. The watches are made or assembled, I should say, in the United States. The website does go on to say that their in-house watchmakers meticulously craft them on our workbenches from our homes. So that's a first indication that they don't have a large assembly facility, that there are some independents who are home assembling these watches. Now, first off, the watches are US assembled, and you can see it does show on here that it is hand-built, as they call it in the US. What that means is the cases are fabricated in the US, all the CNC machining is done, and this is as per their website. They say here, and I'm reading from their website, the main parts such as mid-cases, case backs, bezels, bezel assemblies are CNC machined at our contracted machine shops here domestically, USA. Each mid-case bezel assembly is then hand-finished. Movements are sourced from Switzerland, and the bracelets and other components like crystal, O-rings, and gaskets are from the Far East. So that gives us some indication of their process. They're assembling these watches in the US, and they're doing the machine work here. I'm just going to give you a quick screen grab here. This is from the GINAULT website, where they talk about some of the terms and conditions of purchasing from them, and it's entitled Before You Buy, so you can read along with it. It says, a mechanical watch may suit you no good if you have no knowledge of it. Mechanical watches will easily fail your expectations on timekeeping comparing to atomic clock accuracy. Your iPhone or Android phone, which synchronizes time with your wireless plan carrier every 24 hours, will tell you better time than a mechanical watch. So that alone gives you some indication as to who has written, or at least who's contributed to the website, maybe who's behind the company, I don't know. But I just thought I'd put that up there for interest's sake. Read out of it what you may. The company seems to be based in the Western US. When you look on their website, they do not give any physical address, and they do not give any contact phone number. They have just an email. As best I can tell, the company is based out west. There are some indications that as of last year, it was a Wyoming LLC, which doesn't mean much. They're lawyers running P.O. boxes. The company's trademark, which is the I guess it's like a flower, stylized flower, maybe a plumeria, I'm not sure. But their trademark was issued in 2016, so 10 years ago, to GINAULT LLC, which was a Wyoming limited company with an address in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there is not a lot of transparency about who's behind it, and there is a massive rumor mill. So I just want to say that I think we need to put that aside. For those of you to whom that's important, by all means, let that guide your decisions. I want to focus on the product they've made and the quality of this product. This is an exceptional watch, and I want to say straight out, I think it offers some tremendous value, and the fit and finish of this is absolutely exceptional. You can see there has been obsessive attention to detail, I should say, going into the manufacture of this watch, and indeed they have made something very special. This is not their first watch. GINAULT started out with the Ocean Rover, and that was followed up by the Silent Service, and most recently their Expeditioner. So again, let's just put aside the controversy and stick with an objective assessment of what they have made. And I'm going to try to leave the subjectivity part of it up to you guys. You can have your own opinions, but I think nevertheless we need to have a good look at the product they've made and be fair. And I will be fair. This is my own watch. I bought it with my own money. I've owned it for a few years. I think it's an absolutely fantastic piece. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll take a closer look at this GINAULT Silent Service. Okay, now that we got the preliminaries out of the way, let's look a little closer at the Silent Service. The watch is named after the nickname given to the U.S. Navy submarine service, and that is Silent Service. This is the second release from GINAULT following their Ocean Rover. I'm not sure how many years these watches have been in production. I think at least since 2022. I could be mistaken there. The watch, of course, is assembled here in the US by a team of watchmakers, and I have to say it is an exceptionally high quality timepiece. Let's take a look now at the dimensions, and we'll just go from there. You have a case diameter of 41 millimeters. As I measured it, it's coming in at 40.7. The lug length on the watch is 47 millimeters from lug to lug, and with the male end links on the bracelet, it's coming in at 51 millimeters. You have a 20 millimeter lug width, and the thickness is coming in at 12 millimeters. So, and these are my own measurements, okay? The crown is a very lovely, I believe it's around 7 millimeter crown. It has signed with a GINAULT logo, which is some kind of a flower. You have to excuse the fingerprints here. It is obviously a highly polished watch. Try to clean them off here. The case profile, of course, looks very reminiscent to some other Submariner style watches. Very flat wearing, high polished sides, and brushed finish on the top of the case. Absolutely no sharp edges here. Everything is very, very smooth, and the level of polishing is extraordinary. I mean, it's mirror finish. It's such a good polish. We're definitely talking Grand Seiko quality here in terms of the polishing. Case back is quite simple. I'll open up the clasp here. Not a whole lot going on. They've got GINAUT on there, shows the depth rating to 1,000 feet or 300 meters, showing number of the watch, and just that it's all stainless steel. The case is 316 stainless. It would be nice if they did them in 904 stainless, but of course that would increase the price. But the 316, of course, it's an excellent material for these type of watches. If we get into the crystal and the bezel on this watch, you will see that you have a flat anti-reflective coated sapphire crystal with a Cyclops magnifier. Now these watches, they are available with or without the Cyclops. You can order them, spec them either as a no date, as a date version, or a date version with a Cyclops. The date version with the Cyclops is the most expensive version. The no date is actually the cheapest. The sapphire crystal, I have to say, is excellent. Very, very good clarity and very good application of anti-reflective coating. I'm filming here in front of a window, and you can see how well it's managing the reflection. You are picking up some reflection in the bezel, but not so much in the crystal. So I would say the crystal clarity is outstanding, if not almost exceptional. Definitely, if I were to give it a rating, 9.5 out of 10. Not quite as good as the Tudor Pelagos or my Grand Seiko, but very, very good quality crystal they're using here for sure. The bezel has a ceramic insert. The bezel marks are lumed. You have a 40 tooth bezel, and it has a 60-minute countdown timer on it. It is a unidirectional bezel, so it's only turning one way. The bezel action on this watch, I can only describe it as being sublime. I don't know if you can hear that. Very soft, precise clicks. The bezel is, it's gorgeous. That's the only way I can describe it. Listen to those clicks. Just lovely. There is absolutely no play in here. It's a rock solid bezel. Alignment is perfect, spot on. So yeah, they've nailed the bezel on this. It's absolutely perfect. This, of all the watches I own, I would say this has the nicest bezel action, and I'm not lying when I say that. It is so smooth and precise. Every bezel should operate like this. It is a wonderful bezel. The bezel is fully lumed, and we'll put up a lume shot here in a minute. If we take a look at the dial, you have all applied indices. They are what appear to be stainless steel framed, high polished handset, and again the handset is lumed, and a lovely red second hand with a little lollipop on it. Now the text, yes, there is some opinions about it. There is a lot of text on here, whether you like it or not. To me, actually, I think it works. It balances out the dial with the GINAULT logo, and then they call it kinetic continuous date. That seems a little bit over the top, but the GINAULT certainly looks nice. This is all printed on, and then you have, of course, silent service, the depth rating, and then a little bit more wordy text here: submersible maritime precision chronometer. Yeah, it's a little over the top, but it does balance out. I mean, when you look at the dial, it is well balanced, and then you've got hand built in America on the bottom. Everything lines up beautifully. There is a polished reho, and it shows very nice reflection here from the indices. And then you have, of course, have a printed minute track. All of the lume is BGW9. You have the date window here at the 3 o'clock under a magnifier. It's not framed in, but the font use is absolutely spot on, perfect alignment, and it generally looks really good. I don't have many watches with a Cyclops. Somehow on this watch it just works, and I like it. I would also, if I did have another option for one of these, I might be tempted to go with the no date variant, just because that dial would be a little cleaner. And it's nice that they offer that option, that you can go with a no date or have the date and the date with the Cyclops. So yeah, let's take a look here. The handset, you can see, very nice, all fully polished. They're sword hands, And yeah, it's just beautifully done. Very well balanced. I'll put up a Lume shot now. Now, I kind of ran into some problems doing the Lume shot because daylight caught up with me. So I didn't have a totally darkened room. So you can still see, though, you've got that BGW9 Lume on the indices and on the bezel, and it performs very well. Very nice color. Everything is evenly applied with the Lume, so I'd give the watch a perfect 10 out of 10 here in terms of the Lume performance. Works very nicely. Let's get into the movement here. The movement is quite something, because it's a standard Sellita SW200. So excellent grade Swiss movement. According to the website, it is the Elaboré caliber, so it's sort of a mid-range caliber. Now, of course, these are not COSC certified because the watches are assembled in the US, but GINAULT kind of goes their own way and do their own certification. So they claim the watches are regulated in-house for 6 weeks. Which is quite outstanding, and they provide a certificate showing that regulation. This watch indeed is running well within COSC standards. I have measured this watch on my time grapher, and it's running within a couple seconds a day. Over the last week that I've had this watch running, it has gained 20 seconds in 7 days. So that's just under 3 seconds a day that it's been gaining. So that's excellent performance. And yeah, I mean, the Sellita, it's an excellent movement. I've had absolutely no issues with it. And again, very good choice for this watch. The movement's running at 4 hertz. 28,800 beats per hour, 26 joules, and a 38-hour power reserve. It could be a little more modern movement, I suppose, with a higher power reserve, but you know, when you're wearing the watch, and if you're wearing it daily, it's certainly up to the task. And the Sellitas, they do have that benefit of, you know, any watchmaker can service them. So I think it's a good choice, and they're good movements. Looking at the bracelet, this is one of the very few watches that I own that I keep it on the factory bracelet. The bracelet is really that good. If we take a look at the fitment here of the end links, I mean, my God, that is a tight fit. There's no, I mean, you couldn't get a piece of paper in there. It's so tight. Absolute perfect fit on those end links. The end links are solid. You have very nice articulation with the bracelet. These are male end links, mind you, but the bracelet is just, everything is so smooth on here, buttery smooth. So the bracelet is starting at 20 millimeters at the lugs, tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp, and then your clasp is 18 millimeters. The clasp finishing here is first rate. There just no sharp edges. Everything is solid, just beautifully made. The clasp is a glide lock type clasp, so you can see the mechanism here. You just pop it and you can slide. It just slides. It gives you a tremendous amount of adjustment. I would say well over a centimeter, maybe 1.5 centimeters, so 15 millimeters adjustment, but a lot of adjustment and very smooth. I've got this clasp, or this design clasp, on several other watches, but nowhere near as smooth as this finishing. And again, you can see it's all screwed, but no sharp edges. Everything is just buttery soft, and just it's a gorgeous bracelet. And I have to say, this bracelet just works with the watch. The weight of this watch with the bracelet, it's coming in at a Goldilocks 145 grams, and that's on the bracelet sized for my 7.5-inch wrist. So it is absolute sweet spot for the weight. And I have to say, the bracelet just balances this watch perfectly. As you can see, it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. I'm getting fingerprints all over it, just handling it here. And that's, of course, what you get with a high polish watch. So with that said, I will put them on my wrist and give you a wrist shot and some of my overall thoughts on this watch. And I'll polish all the fingerprints off. So give me a second, let me put the watch on and we'll get back. So here we are, a wrist shot of the GINAULT Silent Service. This is on a 7.5-inch wrist, and you can see how this watch wears very flat and how that bracelet just tapers down nicely. I have to say this watch and bracelet are just extraordinary together. Comfort wearing this is sublime. You can wear the watch all day long. There is no fatigue. Having that glide lock clasp means you can adjust it during the day, and it's just a gorgeous wearing watch. There is nothing sharp. Everything is smooth and yeah, very comfortable. This is one watch that just lives on this bracelet. It's such a good bracelet. I would not change it out for anything. They've just, it's perfect combination between the watch head and the case weight and the bracelet weight. It's perfectly balanced. So yeah, perfect bracelet. Absolutely love it. Final thoughts on the Silent Service. Well, we have to look at the pricing. Pricing on these, they run starting at about $1,500, $1,499, and they run up to $1,799 for this model with the date complication and the Cyclops. In terms of competition, at this price range, there are some mid-level Swiss brands, perhaps some of the Longines. I don't think you're going to even get anywhere near Omega territory or Tudor. No, I don't think you're even getting into Tudor territory on this pricing. Maybe some of the entry-level ones are coming in just over 2,000. So this is squarely in the territory of the mid-level Swiss brands, and what you are getting here for this money is way above and beyond the fit and finish that you would get from those mid-level Swiss brands. Definitely this watch is on par with the likes of Omega, Tudor, Longines. I would say it's exceeding that. Very close with Rolex in terms of quality, but of course it's not precious metal. You're not paying for diamonds or gold or platinum. It's a stainless steel dive watch. Does it compare favorably to something like a stainless steel Rolex Submariner? Absolutely. The fit and finish on this watch is exceptional. I can only say it that way. It competes hands down with Grand Seiko or Tudors, costing 2 or 3 times the price. So yeah, the watch does punch way beyond its price, and I would say with its pricing, it competes with some of the premium Swiss brands. My only criticism is that there is still that lack of transparency about who is behind the company. I would like to see the company come out a little more open about who they are and how they're functioning. Perhaps they've tried to keep this mystique and it helps keep the exclusivity of the watches. They're not widely available, and of course they are made to order. So if you order the watch, you're going to be waiting several months before you receive it. Otherwise, the dial, maybe some of the text is a little bit too wordy, but as I say, it somehow works. It's balanced out. So I don't mind it. You get used to it. So I cannot criticize it too much, but I know some people do take offense to all the text. But, you know, otherwise, I've got to say at this price point, this is just a phenomenal watch. It offers so much value for the money and the quality. It is truly exceptional at this price point. I have to say the fit and finish is absolutely first class. I've had no quality issues, and it's a lovely watch to wear. It's so comfortable. It feels very premium, and when you're wearing it, it feels special. It feels like a special watch. It's very solid. It just oozes quality. So yeah, I have to say it's truly an impressive watch, and if you can get over any sort of controversy or issues with the brand and who they are, they make an exceptional timepiece, and I cannot at all fault the quality of their work. It's just an exceptional watch. So yeah, there you have it. My thoughts on the GINAULT Silent Service. This is my only GINAULT, hopefully not the last. I'm certainly interested in adding some of their other pieces to my collection. They have 3 models right now, the Ocean Rover, the Silent Service, and their newest, which is called the Expeditioner, which really looks sharp, an impressive watch. So yeah, I'm keeping my eyes open, and very much in love with this watch. As I say, the brand name, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide if the controversy is a no-go for these watches. But as a watch, they're first class. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys will consider liking and subscribing to my channel if you enjoyed this content. My content is not sponsored. I am not paid or provided anything to do this. I'm just doing this out of interest and hoping to give you guys some information. So this is truly my unbiased views. I'm not gaining anything out of this. I'm not making any money out of it. I'm just trying to give you my straight up opinions and views on things. So I hope you appreciate it, and continue watching my channel. I'd love to get your comments. Please keep things respectful if you're going to start talking about the past of GINAULT and who's behind the brand. Let's just keep this very polite and respectful, okay? So, till next week, I'll come out with another video. I hope you enjoy this, and just stay safe out there and enjoy the nice summer weather for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Till next time, thanks for watching.